Welcome back to Orchidillarium. I'm Brenda, and of course I'm doing an unboxing, and of course I think we can assume that this is an order from Tropical Orchid Farms. I love buying from them because they just offer an extensive inventory of species orchids, and some that are a little bit more challenging to grow, some that are just like, they're out there. They're not rare, but they're just uncommon, or maybe people just don't talk about them. But I mostly ordered Stellis orchids, and I got a couple others just to pad my order. But I was really after one specific Stellis, and we'll get to that one in a moment. But this one is a Zootrophion, and this is one that I've been looking at, and it is definitely an oddball. It's worth Googling. Obviously I don't own any pictures for them, so I won't have any here until it blooms, but it's the ATROPURPUREA, so it's gonna lean on the dark purple, I would even dare to say Merlot side. This has 3 beautiful growths coming on, so that's very exciting. And here at Orchidillarium, we very much appreciate growths and roots, and I would dare to say very controversial that I like them more than blooms. Believe it or not, I can get bored with blooms. I can be like, all right, you bloomed, moving on. Anyway, this is from like Jamaica, Cuba, Colombia. It's wet montane forest. You can see here it's got a little bit of dehydration, so I needed to get it in the water fast. It wasn't the only plant to suffer from the heat here. This is a Stellis morganii, and it also comes from Costa Rica, Panama, Ecuador, but it's more of a warm to cool grower. And guys, I think we are definitely in macro lens territory officially with this one. It is so tiny, and it appears on the yellow side, but if you look up professional pictures of them, they tend to lean more on the lime green side. And I struggled adjusting everything I could. And now I'm not my dry hands, I'm so sorry about that, yuck. But I tried every feature I could figure out on my camera. Now I'm not a professional, but considering I didn't put it in a professional lit up photography situation, I think I got pretty close to showing the bloom on it, but it is so cute. So this is another Stellis. It is a Stellis ARGENTATA red, and I believe this one is a little different in that it'll bloom all the time, but the nickname of this one is Silvery Stellis, and it does have growths coming on. It's a little bushier than the other, and this one has like these little white hairs on the blooms, and they come off as like giving it a silver silver me timbers, I'm just kidding, a silvery overtone. So it's not quite like a glistening, almost like a dusty. This is Epidendrum peperomia. Just never mind me. I've been working a lot. This one loves to be damp and humid. It also likes to dry. It has a rest period, and it's basically water when growing, mist when it's not, and ideally you do not want to let this one fully dry out, but it loves air on its roots. So if you're growing it in a pot and you're having trouble with it, that might be why. They also don't recommend moss. Yes, even on a mount, so that should tell you to be careful with these roots. This is a Chondrorhyncha CALOGLOSSA, and I thought that it was a Kieferstinia, and it is not. It's been thrown into the zygo group at some point, even cochleanthes, and they just don't know what to do with it. And it has a very pretty bloom, but it's supposedly another easy one to grow, but I can't even focus on that one with this one just right next after it. You know, it's this Ancistrochilus Rothschildianus, and I just cannot even focus in the company of these pseudobulbs. Look at them. I've never seen anything like this ever, and I cannot. They look like tubers, something you would plant in the ground. Just incredible. And I can't even remember what their blooms were supposed to look like, but they're supposed to be easy to grow. You water them when they're growing, you mist them when they're not, and I just look at this. They're soft, but they're not. They look wet or like squishy, but they're not. They're not papery. It's just I would say maybe more like a dried fig, like a undried and a dried fig together. Anyway, now moving on to the reason why I placed this order was I really needed this Stellis viridipurpurea, because in the back of my mind I have this goal. It's a long-term goal to have kind of like a goth orchid corner, and so my goal is to collect all the dark purples and not have a lot of reruns. So like I have the Memoria, or what is it, Millennium Magic. Well, you know which one I'm talking about. And now I have this one. And so in the back of my mind, I was inspired by Kat Von D and her goth garden that she actually has outside. So slowly but surely I want to accumulate, and I know they don't all have the same growing needs, but I think I would really love to have a collection of dark orchids. I think it suits me, but here they are all together, and they were all so super thirsty, and I had to rip them open as soon as I came home from work, and it was already getting late. And I know you can't tell from my plant viewing unboxing, but I was able to edit it to make the picture brighter, but it was already very dark. So I even went against my normal quarantining procedure, and I put them up into the grow tent just to give them that humidity after watering them with RO water. And that's what's happening today right now. Thank you so much for dropping by Crazy Town. I appreciate it so much.